I'm very centered right now. Music really helped. Have you ever felt kind of off-center? I mean, kind of out of balance internally and or out of balance between what's going on inside yourself and in what is outside of yourself? I know I do. And sometimes I know when I'm out of balance, but there are many times I don't know when I'm out of balance unless I stop and touch what is inside me. Near the end of my career as a psychotherapist, this was some 25 years ago, I noticed some things about myself. I was more tired than usual during working hours, finding myself falling asleep between clients, maybe once or twice while they were in the room, not often. I wasn't as interested in my work. Before that time, I was absorbed with it. I'd go to continuing education programs, always interested in learning something new and different, talking with my colleagues about different strategies and techniques, client types, and taking on clients of all kinds of novel conditions, many of whom other therapists wouldn't see. I was fascinated with the human mind and spirit. I couldn't learn enough or experience enough. I loved helping people, making a concrete difference in people's lives. Then something changed. I wasn't particularly aware of it initially. I realized that some of my particularly difficult clients seemed to drain me more than before. In the past, I might have been able to endure some of that, but I just didn't seem to be able to endure it as well. And they just didn't seem to be getting better. I had never, ever told myself that there was any kind of client that I couldn't help in some way or fashion. No one that came into my office was I going to refer out to somebody else to see because I couldn't help them. But about that time, I began to wonder about my limitations. I began to wonder about the unique needs of my clients that I just couldn't understand, at least understand well enough to help them make progress. And I have to tell you, I just didn't feel the same about my work. I didn't feel the same joy going in, the same intrigue and wonder for each new person that came into my office that had filled me for years. It just wasn't there anymore. It felt more like drudgery, work. It no longer felt like a vocation. Something inside me was off-center. And at least at the beginning, I couldn't figure out what it was. Looking back and being honest with myself, I think it may have started with my overworking. Taking on more clients than anyone else in my practice, perhaps anyone else should. I was motivated by the financial rewards, important due to my growing family, and I got accolades from my peers, from my boss, from the office staff. I can now very clearly see how I was like the man who stole the gold, despite being in a crowd of people. All I could see was the money. I needed to pay the credit cards, to pay for a new home, to give my children all the things that they wanted, or at least I think they wanted. I was worried about getting debts that I couldn't pay, fearful that I might need to file bankruptcy. Although realistically, I was paying my bills and paying them on time and paying more than the minimal amount. There was no real need to file bankruptcy other than my own irrational fears. I was well off center. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was younger, I was much more susceptible to being off center, not guided by my deepest self. Instead, I found my center by focusing on my job, on what I owned, what I earned, by what others would say about me. And I would acknowledge today that I was unaware I was off-center as I was. Off-center within and between what is within me and the outside world. I mean, I did feel the tiredness and the reactivity about money and the loss of interest in my vocation, but I didn't realize that it was because I was out of touch with what was really important, my inner self, my truest being. I wonder if you have felt off-center. I would be surprised if there was anyone here who would say, no, I've never felt off-center. There are so many things within and around us that pull for our attention, that masquerade as our center. Advertisers use every means possible to manipulate us. They want our center to be Medicare Advantage Plus, or video game, or Doritos, or Coca-Cola, or TikTok trends, or big HD or LED, OLED, I don't even know what that means, TVs. They use sex to sell us beers and sodas and food and cars, really anything. I remember a hamburger commercial that had a young, beautiful woman eating a hamburger in a sloppy way to associate that hamburger with sex. I would have laughed if I wasn't so sad and angry about the obvious manipulation. They are all designed to make us see only the gold, centering ourselves on something outside of us. So our actions and attitudes are determined by someone or something out there, outside of our skin. And as you know, it's not just advertisers. Every person and experience we have can pull us off center if we allow our center to be outside of ourselves. I know it's challenging to live life without dealing with various stressors and strains in the outside world. There are terrible things happening out there every day. I mean, this week I let myself get off center when I heard Governor DeSantis formally approved measures to protect Florida's investments from woke environmental, social, and corporate governance, ensuring that all investment decisions focused solely on maximizing the highest rate of return, the gold. And of course, the Black Studies AP curriculum just saying it couldn't be taught in Florida. I don't know what his reasons are, but I can tell you it is really sometimes very challenging to bring myself back to center and take a deep breath and not let myself get so angry and upset, feel helpless and hopeless. Things can do that. Back when I was struggling with my vocation as a psychotherapist, it was the physical repercussions of being off-center that forced me, I would say, to realize I was out of touch with my deepest, truest self. Debilitating back spasms that I couldn't bend over. I got a frozen shoulder. I got stomach aches and all the wonderful digestive problems that come with that. I had headaches from my eyeballs to my neck, the tiredness. My body was trying to just make me stop and become aware of what was going on within me. I have to tell you, to be honest, I've had to learn that lesson a few times. I didn't get the message the first time through or the second or third. My body shouts at me, I guess you could say, through aches and pains, pay attention, something's going wrong, And so I have, over time, begun to pay attention and seek out my center way before it reaches some kind of debilitating condition. When I can feel my body, the back just tightening a little, the headaches around my eyes, my stomach, some of the thoughts that begin to race through my mind, I don't need to let them get to a point where I am miserable. I can notice sooner and intervene. I have developed habits, rituals that help me stay in tune when my body starts to communicate with me. When I hear myself say, Tom, you are off center. Reconnect, or I'm gonna make you stop. That's all there is to it. I wonder, what experience do you have that lets you know when you are off center? Physically, mentally, emotionally. You might, for instance, if you don't have a strategy right now, try the strategy we use during the meditation. Touching a part of your body. Feeling more connected to yourself. Perhaps more aware of some beginning of a message your body, mind, the spirit is trying to tell you. It may be something as simple as an awareness that the clothes that you're wearing look good, but they don't feel good. They might be itchy or uncomfortable or cause you rashes. You don't need to go for the gold even with your clothes. Centering yourself is how you are with yourself, how you are with the world, starting from the inside out. And when I read you the prayer, the words, did you notice your inner self responding to those words? What was your emotional, physical, spiritual response? Were you able to accept the message Let the words strengthen you, ground you, help you feel more flexible. Were you able to affirm that you are inside and out as beautiful as the almond tree in blossom? Or did you perhaps notice some resistance? Did you say to yourself, I'm not that strong or as grounded or as flexible as I need to be? I don't know what he's saying. I'm certainly not as beautiful as an almond tree in blossom. My friends, that is another way to know when you are off center. When your body, your mind, your spirit reacts to words spoken, to prayers, to affirmations. Pay attention to those reactions. They may be telling you what you need to hear. And you know, you may not get a direct piece of information when you hear words like that. But let's say you heard that prayer. And as you heard that prayer, it felt okay. It felt like, yeah, maybe I am as flexible or as strong or as grounded as I need to be. Maybe that, and you feel that. Or maybe as you heard that prayer, you just felt yourself relax, and there was nothing there, just comfort and calm and peace. You know, that would say to me that probably you're pretty centered. I know you all know this, but being balanced is not something that's a static affair. We're in a balance, we're out of balance, and ebbs and flows. There's circumstances to health, to life experiences, to Tallahassee, I don't know, many things. But paying attention, you can know when you need to come back to your center, when you need to calm your body, when you need to acknowledge the stress, the effect that the outside world is having on you. That you can do that without letting what is bothering you or impacting you control you or cause you harm. As you pay attention to what's going on within you and you focus on guidance from your deepest self rather than what is outside of you, and whatever it is outside of you wants to focus on all kinds of not so great things. Well, let me just say, as an aside, it may seem sometimes that the outside is trying to get you to pay attention to something that you think, well, I should probably pay attention to that. Check in first. Don't let yourself be seduced by what the outside wants you to pay attention to. By paying attention to your center, you gain new awareness about who you are. You learn more about yourself. You become more confident in your ability to recenter yourself and deal effectively with whatever comes your way. As the Buddha once said, "Be ye lamps unto yourselves, be your own confidence. Hold the truth within yourself as the only lamp." I was able to come back to peace and center myself back then when I was coming out of psychotherapy. It took me both some physical challenges and a dark night of the soul, breaking this habit with going for the gold. But all that's a different story. And I can tell you if you'd like to hear. But I can, and perhaps it's more important to say, be more aware of who I am and more aware when I slip off center than I have been in the past. and have many strategies, because not all of them work all the time, to help me get back to my deepest self, so I can listen to what my deepest self is trying to tell me. And I encourage you to do the same, to stop from time to time, turn your attention within your body, mind, your soul, and listen to what it's telling you. Especially when you find yourself going for the gold. When that cheeseburger looks a little sexy, or you want to go buy some Medicare Plus, or realize that your center will see you through if you stay attuned to it, connected to it. Even if there's a lot of stress, even if you're in debt, even if the laws passed in Tallahassee drive you nuts, there will always be things you have to deal with. Just don't let those things cause you harm or get you too far off center. There is wisdom within you if you listen to it. There is peace within you if you are open to it. There is love within you, always within you, if you feel it. My friends, may you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be at peace. And may you be whole. Amen. Blessed be. Ashe. Shalom.